Okay, so you need to get yourself a business in the UK. Well, basically you have two options. There is becoming a sole trader, and also there is having a limited company. Let's first look at being a sole trader. Well, being a sole trader is really simple. Basically, it's you, the person listening to this video at the moment, as yourself becoming a business. And in simplistic terms, that's as complicated as it gets. Now, as a business, you need to declare to HMRC how much money you've made so that you can pay the relevant taxes. And for simplistic way, the easiest way to think about it is that you have to complete one tax return, which is called your personal tax return, your self-assessment tax return, and you have to complete that on an annual basis. And all you're doing for that is you're telling HMRC how much income you made, what expenses you had. That will generate you a profit and you pay taxes accordingly. Now, sole trader being the most simplest one also means it has the most inherent risk. It doesn't give you any form of protection, and you'll most likely end up paying the most amount of taxes. So by far the most popular, and the one we would highly recommend, and the one we would say is the most beneficial at creating yourself a new business, is by creating what's called a limited company. Now, it's a separate legal entity, which means it's not you anymore that's the business. You actually have another body, another business, another element that is the business itself. And it's crucial you make that distinction. The fact that you yourself are not now completing a tax return, your company will be completing a tax return and completing sets of accounts, and will have its own rules and regulations to follow. Now, being a limited company means that you actually get limited liability, which means you are far more protected in terms of if anything was to go wrong, you won't have to put your personal assets on the line. Things like that means that you will have much more protection than you would if you were a sole trader. The downside of being a limited company, though, is the fact that you will have to actually put your information to public record. And as an example, that means that anyone could go onto Companies House, search for your company and find out some really key information, like your address, who's involved in the company, and be able to see some financial statements related to that company. Now, a limited company itself has to complete far more paperwork, if you like, to make sure it's compliant. So you've got a set of accounts you need to submit to Companies House, a set of accounts you need to submit to HMRC, you've got a tax return to submit to HMRC, and you have an annual compliance statement each and every year, basically telling Companies House that everything that's on public record is still correct. So there's far more paperwork involved, far more administration work involved, but it's by far the most sensible way to have a business because you get that protection of it being a limited company, and also for most cases it's a reduced liability compared to a sole trader. Okay, so that's looking at which option you have. So you have those two options of creating yourself a business. But how would you create them? Well, in both circumstances, first of all, you need to go to HMRC and tell them that you are needing to complete a self-assessment tax return. Now, if you're just doing it because of sole trader, then that's all the information you need to tell them. You're looking to create yourself a business as a sole trader, and you just need to tell them what day it is that you're starting to receive income and ultimately generate profits. If you are looking to do a limited company, you still need to tell HMRC about your personal circumstances, because being an owner of a limited company means that you should really be doing a tax return as well, so that you can tell HMRC how much money you've taken out of that business, and therefore you may have some additional tax to pay as well. So under both circumstances, first and foremost, you need to tell HMRC that you've got change in your personal circumstances and that you need to complete a self-assessment tax return. That's for both a sole trader and also for a limited company. Okay, so you've got yourself personally sorted. And again, if you're a sole trader, that's all you need to do. But if you also have a limited company, then setting up a business couldn't be any more straightforward. First of all, you need to go to Companies House, and from Companies House, you basically need to register yourself for a new business. Now, they're going to ask you a lot of questions on what type of business, how that business is going to be running, and everything else in between. For the most simplistic way of doing it, the way you want to put your business structure together is that you are a shareholder, which ultimately means that you own the company, and that you are also a director, which ultimately means that the shareholder tells the director what to do. But in this case, you're exactly the same. Now, the director is responsible for making sure the company is running on a day-to-day basis, whereas the shareholder ultimately runs the company and ultimately owns the company. But in this situation, you're both the same person, so that's absolutely fine. You're going to be asked for a name of the particular company. Now there's certain situations where you've got to make sure that that name is actually allowable. So there are certain limitations to what you can call it, and also you have to have a unique name. You can't go creating a limited company called British Telecom, for example. And also you'll need to tell them where your address is going to be. Now, if all this sounds way too complicated for you, then don't worry. Here at Boffix, we've got some really easy ways for you to be able to give us that information, and we can compile, complete, and generate you a business nice and straightforward. We've even partnered up with one of our partners, and we're able to even provide you a bank account at the same time to make it even more straightforward for you creating a business. But basically, once you've gone to a company's house, you've put all the information in, they're going to generate you up a business. You then need to get yourself a bank account. Again, highly recommend some of the partners we work with to make it really straightforward. And then you're going to be able to be up and running for your own business. For both situations, sole trader or limited company, don't forget you have some annual requirements, which include completing a personal tax return in both situations. And also, if you're going down that limited company, you need to submit a set of accounts to Company's House, and also you might want to think about looking into how to get that tax return completed in the best possible way. My name's been Patrick. Hopefully this little bit of information, this niblet of information has been useful to you. If you need any more questions, don't forget to reach out to me or speak to Sabrina herself. Either of us will be able to make sure that you get the best treatment possible in setting up your business. Good luck with it. Hopefully you get yourself to the moon, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Hello and thank you for watching that video. What you may not know is this channel that you've watched this video from is part of a wider group. That wider group is called Apple Core Production, and the 3 channels that we have involved are as follows: Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks Chat, Boffix Tax Tip. Finally, we have Apple Core Live and Geeky. All the links and everything are down below in the description, but it really means a lot to us if you can go and give a like to the other channels as well.